So with the theme of our current bundle being Victorian, we wanted to include a classy card that you can send to friends and family. And we've also, in my case, you can do a sentiment inside, obviously, or what I did was just print out a little family photo that you can see here that we're going to include in ours. So that's a really beautiful way to send your Christmas cards this year. If you haven't already started them, this one should go together pretty quickly. So without further ado, let's take a look at what we have here. It's kind of just a basic paper piecing sort of project. And what we're going to do actually is let's just start on the inside. I did a print and cut on the inside with a little Merry Christmas caption. And what we're going to do is, well, first off, we've got these two little panels here that we're going to glue to the inside here. So we can do that. It's pretty straightforward. Now, we did do a Christmas in July where we had a couple really classy cards to give those of you that start on your cards really early a head start. If you haven't done your cards, and maybe your list isn't huge and really long, this would be a nice little gift or a nice little card to send. So get that nice and centered, and make sure that it's nice and even, nice even border all the way around, and just press that down. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just real thin. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want the paper to get all blotchy. And then when you put this one down, obviously make sure you have it centered, and then keep your eyes on the other piece on the other side and try to get that nice and lined up as close as possible as far as the height from the bottom here. Okay, and that looks pretty darn good. Pop that into place. All right, so I've got a little wreath in here that I've taken. I ran that through an embossing folder. It's the Sizzix Tiny Dot embossing folder. And I've got a little bow that we're going to glue on here. So let's get that glued down. Now, sometimes when we use the embossing folder, especially the Tiny Dot, it does raise some of the paper up, so not the entire bow. The entire bow is not going to sit flush with the paper, but it kind of adds a little dimension to it, and you may have to be a little more patient just to make sure that everything sits nice and flat. Okay, so there is our bow. Let's just give that a few extra seconds. And then there's a little centerpiece here that's going to go in there just to kind of raise up that middle part and give it a little extra dimension. So if you want to zot that with a really thin little zot, you can, to raise it up even more. So get that nice and centered. Okay, and then we have some berries that we're going to glue to the perimeter here. Okay. So I'd say this is a pretty special card. Easily mass producible, but I don't know if you want to make 50 of them. You'll probably make like 5 to maybe the really special people in your life, your son, your grandkids. Or if you're a mom and you want to send grandma and grandpa a really cute card that has a picture of you and your family. So we're just taking these berries, and you can see that there are some little shadow areas here where the berries kind of just fit into place. There's one right there, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Just put a little bit of glue on there and pop that into place. Oops. Yeah, see those little tiny dots do kind of, there we go. So there's that. And then going to take our picture. You'll see that this is a little bit bigger than it needs to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a thin line of glue around the inner ring here. And maybe I'll just do dots just to be on the safe side so it doesn't smear. Okay, and just go like that. And then I'm going to put this down so that I can align it perfectly. And I think that's good. Press that down. There we go. Just like that. Okay. And then we're going to center that right in the middle of our card here. Just like that. Okay, so let's get our glue onto this thing. I'm being very sparse with the glue here. I don't need a lot, and try to work it into the little nooks and crannies here of the bow and the little holly leaves. And then of course, you're going to want to put a little bit on the back of the photo, which I actually just printed on the smooth side of some AC cardstock using the matte option on my printer settings, and it came out pretty nice. It's not as glossy as make sure I get that nice and centered. That looks pretty good. And yep, that looks good. Just flatten that out. Okay, so that's really pretty. If you wanted to use, say, you know, like a pattern paper, you could, but I'm very happy with the way that looks. So there's the inside of the card, very festive, very beautiful. Okay, and I can fold this in half and begin working on the front of our card here. So to do that, I think what we're going to do is just kind of arrange the pieces. Okay, and just kind of start putting layers together one at a time here. So the first thing we're going to do, all right, so let's start putting together the left side of our little Victorian house. Okay, so we're going to take this pattern piece and glue it to this solid piece. And you want to make sure that you cover every little area here. Just really thin. Don't need a lot, but make sure you work that glue out to the edges. And watch out for these little cutouts here. Make sure you don't get the glue too close to these cutouts. And then get a little bit on that little Christmas tree area there. That should do. And just pick it up, lay it down, kind of scoot it. And if you watched my previous video, the one for the lantern, I was working with some paper that that was it had some kind of weird sheen on it, and it just would not stick. And now I'm transitioning over back to the AC cardstock, and it's just gripping this glue like there's no tomorrow. So I'm gonna have to redo that and throw a little extra glue on there to give me enough time to reposition this if I need to. Okay, so just get that overlapped nice and accurate. There we go. Now we're talking. There we go. Okay, just smooth that out. Okay, and once we get this layer down, we can start working on the next layer. On the left-hand side here, we're going to have our little Christmas tree. Okay, so this piece is going to go on next, like that. And then there is a little curtain piece that is going to get glued on the back of this. Okay, it's going to be like that. Just like that. Okay, so let's get this glued down first. Our little green layer here. It's a fun little paper piecing card. Lots of little details. It's fun to look at. Okay. And you can see the little cutouts here. You just want to match those up as accurately as you can. Just like that. Press that down. Okay. And I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to put my little purple curtain down. And what you want to do is just get some glue. You know, let's take a look here and make sure that we're doing this right. Yeah, you want to put some glue on just this little area here that has little dots on it. And that should be enough to hold it in place. Okay, so, and you want to make sure that it kind of hugs the little scalloped area there, like that. Okay, so you can see what our little curtain should look like. And then we're going to take this and glue this to the green piece like so. Okay, so let's get our glue all over the back of this piece here. And just very, very fine amounts of glue needed on this. Don't need a ton. Very sparse. Don't let that glue spew out too much. Just a little bit's going to go a long way on this. Okay, and I'm going to start matching it up down here at the bottom by the windowsill. Just make sure that that is accurate, and then just work my way up. And give it a little nudge here or there if you got it too high or too low. There we go. That's starting to look nice. If your paper is kind of bowing a little bit, just flatten it out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's that. Now, you can find this little piece here, and that's going to get glued right below the little windowsill. So a lot of details in this. Wanted to really take advantage of the machine's capabilities with this card, and I think we did a really good job of that. And we want to center that right about there. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to work our way up and find the next little layer here for this window. The green layer is going to go on top of this purple layer so that just the curtains show up, and then the window trim is going to go on top of that. So let's get our glue. So let's get our glue on this piece. Just like that. Don't need a ton. And let's put it on our curtain layer. Just like that. Get it nice and centered. Boy, this glue just dries so fast now. I really want you guys to, if you haven't, check out my video on the lantern and see see the difference between these two papers. This paper it just grabs and holds and it's done. Where I'm not even sure, I'll have to double check to see who makes that other. It's like a glittery paper that, it's not really glitter. It's got like a glitter element to it, and it just would not stick. But this stuff, man, this stuff just, the AC cardstock is so nice and porous that it just grabs the glue and goes. Okay, so there we go. And I'm kind of building the window like this instead of gluing it on there, and that's fine. Whichever way you want to do it, it's all gonna end up the same, so no big deal there. And then we're going to take this whole piece and apply our glue to the back, like that. And just pop that right over the little cutout there. I'm going to excuse my head for just 1 second. I want to make sure that I get this down accurately and nice and straight. There we go. That's about right. And just give that a push. Okay, so now we're going to work on the little roof part. The roof part has the little window built into it already. Okay, so we want to find this piece like that, and then find this piece like that. So that's going to go like this. Okay, and then we're going to glue that right onto here like that. Okay, and then we got a little piece for the chimney too. So let's take our white piece here. It's got the little snow drift on it. I kind of ink that a little bit with a little bit of like a turquoise, just to kind of make it look like it's chilly out there. Okay, and then get your glue on this piece here. If you've got too much in some areas, just give it a little dab, flatten it out. Okay, and then just grab a corner, line it up, and give it a press. I think we got it. Yes, we did. That looks good. Okay, and then you can take and put glue on the back of this. It's really cool. It's like a very dimensional card that you're going to be able to touch and feel all the dimension. It's really cool. And again, it really goes well with our little Victorian theme that we have here. All right, so this piece is going to get glued on like this, right there. Give that a press. Okay, we've got two little roof pieces. One, in my case, it's like a purple. So let's get our glue on the back of this. Just like that. And this is going to be flush with the top of the roof here. So just make sure you get it nice and flush there, nice and centered, like so. And then we've got a white piece that's going to go over that. And just a tiny little bit of that purple is going to show through, and it's going to make it nice and dimensional too. So just like that. And you can see I've got a little bit of ink on that to make it look chilly. So just pop that right on there. Okay, so one side of our house is done. Pretty straightforward. And I think I'm going to let this set a little bit, and I may just kind of put it underneath my mat to flatten it out a little bit while we work on our other side. Okay, so pretty much the same concept. We're going to take and glue this down to this piece here. Okay, so let's get our glue going here. And you can see it's a pretty quick card. I think we may be able to swing this in under 30 minutes as far as assembly goes, depending on how quick you work. I mean, you know, some of you probably work quicker than I do because you're not sitting there blabbing the whole time like I am, and that's fine, obviously. And just line that up. There we go. Perfect. And push. And then we're just going to do a little more layering here. Actually, you know what? Did I mess something up here? You know, I think I may have missed a piece for the top. I did. There's one more piece on this side here. Just it kind of double layers the white. So pardon me for my oversight there. Let's get that other piece on there before we forget. And that's just to kind of separate the roof from the little snowdrift there at the top. And of course to add a little extra dimension as well. So no worries. At least we caught it early. There we go. All right, so you can put that back underneath my mat. Let that flatten out a little bit. Okay, so back to this piece here. And let's just, again, kind of work our way, start at the bottom, work our way up. Now the door is made up of just these two pieces here. Okay, so we're gonna glue these together. Then we're gonna put that on there like so, and then we've got a couple accent pieces in purple and a little piece for the door as well. So let's get our glue on the white part. Like that. Just a lot of little delicate areas here, but you know, we talked about how sometimes when we make cards, we don't always leverage their full capabilities. And they're not always going to do this, but I thought it was fun to really see what kind of detail we can get out of our machines. Okay, so start somewhere. Maybe just look at the door in the center and try to get that lined up nicely, and then change your gaze up to the top here. And I waited a little bit too long. There we go. There we go. And that looks good. Hopefully that glue hasn't set completely yet. It doesn't look like it did. There we go. Okay. So that looks nice. Now we can take and get our glue on the back of this green piece. And just follow the little cutouts here to get this placed accurately, like so. There we go. Okay, so far so good. That looks nice. Okay, and then as I mentioned, there's a couple little accent pieces. One's going to go here in purple, and the other one's going to go on the other side. So just a few dots. You really only need very minimal glue for this, so don't overdo it, otherwise it's just going to make a huge mess. Okay, so there's one purple, and then here's our other one. You can see I'm not using that much glue at all. And just make sure that you're not covering up the little cutouts there on the yellow. Get it nice and aligned. There we go, there's our door. Okay, and we have this little piece here that we're going to glue right here. So just a few little drops of glue there. And just get that nice and centered, like so. There we go. Okay. All right, so we can move our way up to our little window here, and we're going to glue these two pieces on top of each other. We got a nice little green curtain here. So grab your white piece and just dot that glue all the way around. Got a nice little candle in the window. It's very of the era. Get that nice and aligned. Give it a press. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down onto the house now. I think this is one of those projects that you probably don't even need to watch the video for, but I don't want to leave you hanging in case it's your first time. Okay, so get that nice and centered. Make sure it's centered, obviously. And we did include a little piece for the candle. It's really tiny, so if you want to just kind of paint that in, you can, but it's literally the tiniest little piece, and you may if you lose it, don't feel bad. You can just kind of grab a marker and just fill it in. And it's really tiny, but there we go. I got that on there. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a really tiny little piece, but it works. Okay, and finally, oh, actually, there are 4 little trapezoid-looking shapes, little accents on the window. Tiny little pieces. If you've got a little pick-me-up tool, now would be the time to use it. And that's going to go right here in these little sections here, like that. Let me show you my pick-me-up tool. Here's my little pick-me-up tool. It's got a little tacky little tip. You can just kind of grab it like that. And it comes with, I don't know if I have it. Yeah, I do. The other end of it has this little piece here, so you can kind of just take this and place it where you want it, and then hold it down to release it. And you can even use it to kind of nudge things around a little bit, especially when you're getting this detailed. Okay, let's make sure I got the right side here. I do. Oops. Well, sometimes the glue is stronger than the pick-me-up tool. There we go. And that looks nice. So there you go. There's that. And then let's just finish up the roof. So again, we've got a green piece, and then we've got the piece with the snowdrift. That's going to go on top here. Okay, so let's get that glued to the green piece. And then we've got the top layer for the roof there without the snowdrift to finish it off. And then we're just going to take these 2 sides and adhere them to the front of the card to finish it off, and we're pretty much done. We've got a little envelope that comes with this, of course, as always, with all of our cards. There we go. And last little piece here. I think we may have accidentally cut 2 of those little flames for the candle, because I might have lost one. As I was saying, such a tiny piece. Don't feel bad if you lose it and just have to kind of just draw it in with a little marker or whatever it might be. Okay, so let's layer that right on top like that. I think it's easier to kind of hold this in your hand while you work with it. I think it makes it a little bit more accurate and easier to kind of nudge around if you need to. Okay. Okay, so let's just flip this piece around and get our glue. Again, don't worry about covering every single inch of the back of this. You don't need that. As long as it's anchored down in enough areas, that glue's really strong. It's gonna be able to handle it no problem. Whoops. And that glue is drying so quick, boy. Let me get some more on there. Okay. And just line it up with the top of the base piece there. Make sure the window looks like it's in the right spot there, and just give that a press. Okay, there we go. And that is that. Let's grab our other side here. You can see how that's going to come together. Beautiful. So all that's left to do is just get this glued onto the front of the card. And of course we want it to be nice and flush with the edge here of the gatefold. And it should fit perfectly from top to bottom. So let's get this in place here. I'm going to get my glue on this entire piece. You can probably go a little heavier if you need to. You don't really need to, but I'm not worried about warping this because there's so many layers. But what we do want to do is make sure that we get enough glue out to the very edge here and maybe just dab that a little bit so that it doesn't smear. And just place that. I'm kind of working towards the bottom corner, and then I'm running my finger along this edge here to make sure that everything is aligned nicely, and then I'm going to press and get all of this to adhere. Okay, just work it. There we go. And mine looks pretty good. Okay, so now let's take this and get that nice and lined up like that. Just get our glue on the back of this piece. And of course, right along the inside here is going to be important. We want that to sit nice and flush. So I'm just going to take and spread that out. Okay, and grab your other piece and align it with the bottom there and the side. Just make sure that you've got it nice and aligned, and give it a press. When you close it up, it should meet nicely in the center, and it does. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay, so there she is, really cute. And I think we got everything nice and intact. And it opens up. Merry Christmas. A beautiful little card. Okay, so let's take a look at our envelope here. And you can see how that's going to stand up. You can open it up that way. I think people are going to love this, actually. All right, let's take a look at our envelope. Envelope's pretty straightforward. You can see that first thing we need to do is just score, just actually fold everything at the score marks, I should say. Okay, and let's get this folded. And we've got this piece here, and we're going to glue this down so that it's flush with the side here, but it is going to stick out to kind of give you that nice little scalloped look. So what we want to do is we want to put glue on this section here, very sparse with the glue, don't overdo it. Okay, I gotta act quick here so this glue doesn't dry out. And what I would do is just kind of start like this, make sure it's aligned, and then just bring this over like that. That looks good. Okay, very nice. Okay, and then finally, to close this up, all we need to do is put some glue on the tabs here. And I'm going to just do a real thin line right along the edge here. I don't want to overdo it. I tend to always warp my envelopes with too much glue. I don't want to do that. Just spread that nice and thin, and then just take this and fold it over, tuck these in a little bit, and just press that down. Let it get that glue. Okay, maybe don't push down too hard. Maybe that's part of my problem with the warping on this. Okay. There we go, nice little envelope. And okay, so as you can see, card fits in there nicely, and there you go. So not too bad, pretty quick actually, considering all the little details that we have in this card. I'm sure it'll be appreciated by your loved ones. And If you do make this card and put a photo in it or your own caption or whatever, we'd love to see your version of it. So take a moment and visit us in the official Dreaming Tree group on Facebook. Just go to Facebook and type in Dreaming Tree Group into the search and join myself and 8,000 other dreamers who are doing amazing things in there. So I hope you join us there. And if you love the video, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and let us know that we're doing a good job. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I look forward to crafting with you again. Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.